skip ahead to the 1 minute mark for today's message. Let's get started. All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier eye hypnosis life healer coach and your personal guide. So let's talk a little bit about showing up. So for the longest time, this is one topic that was a big struggle for me. There were times when I felt like it, when I was in the mood and I would show up like 100%, 1,000%. There were times when I didn't feel like it and so I didn't show up. And this went on for many years until, of course, I discovered the power of what some of you may already know. This is, of course, the keystone habit. And by this, what I'm talking about, the keystone habit, is one fundamental habit. It may seem very simple, it may seem very trivial to you, but for everybody, this one habit can literally change the way you approach your life. It can change the way you approach building your habits. Because remember, when we're talking about building habits, obviously it means that you got to show up. Because if you don't show up, habits don't continue to get built. Right? You can maybe be inspired for a moment and do something once, but if you really genuinely want to be able to do this on a ongoing, consistent basis, then obviously you're only going to be able to do that. You're only going to be able to benefit from it when you show up. And so there are many times, and I'm sure in your own life, and of course, as a healer and a coach, whenever you've maybe wanted to start creating content or maybe do webinars or whatever it is that as an activity you want to put out there in the world, when you did it, there were a lot of times you sort of felt that initial rush and you started, but then you kind of dropped off. And as frustrating as it can be, that's also reality. And so you may ask, what is the antidote? And this is exactly what it is, right? Showing up is the antidote. While it sounds really stupid, it sounds very minimizing, but this is the truth. So one thing I can, of course, say is that especially let's say when it comes to creating content, this is something that as a muscle, I chose to do this one daily pod as a hallmark, meaning no matter how successful it gets or no matter if there are no likes that it gets, it's really the show up muscle that I'm building. And of course, this as a skill can lead to many other allied skills. They can lead to many other related and sometimes even unrelated skills. So one thing I can definitely tell you is that, if you're someone who has, especially as a healer and a coach, if you've been struggling to get going, then it's so important to find maybe that one skill or that one habit that you want to build and just show up, right? So one thing I'll also tell you is that make sure that you choose a habit which is small enough that you can do every day, no matter what happens. I've been talking about this now for some time. Now we're somewhere closer to the 6-month mark where I made it a point to work out to literally run every day for 20 minutes. And literally up until last week when I fell ill, it became something that I did no matter what. Of course, there were times when I didn't feel like it, but because I had promised to show up, I made it a point to obviously, do this late at night because I said, okay, I'm going to do the habit before I go to bed. And so there have been some nights like that. But the point I'm making is, of course, that you're building something which is a very, very early stage part of building your habit, because we're not talking about a habit that you have been practicing for 5 years or 10 years. It's literally just the very, very early stages. So something to really consider. And my question to you, of course, as a healer and a coach is this. What's that one habit that you're choosing to build? And what's that mantra that you're going to give yourself? For me, it was, I will do this before I go to bed. So no matter how late, I will still do it before I go to bed. So there have been many times over the last 3 years where at times I would, record my daily pod at sometimes 2, sometimes 3 in the morning, because for whatever reasons, I was unable to do it before. I didn't want to do it before. But because I had already made this pact, this contract with myself that I will do it before I go to bed, I was able to complete it. And I know that, my 2 years later, my 2027, my 2028 version already is cheering me on, thanking me for having stuck it out and building these habits. So I wish you the very best, of course, in everything that you're doing. Very often in most of my posts, I do talk about all the programs that we have and the community meetups that we do. And of course, every Monday and Friday between 6 and 7, we meet in the eye hypnosis life experience. As the name suggests, we meet and you have an experience. And this is one way for you to really make the most and get the most out of this community. For today, I'm just going to only talk about this, but I just want to remind you that this is your opportunity to come and be part of our community. And when you want to build habits, when you want to show up, it helps when you have other people who are on the journey with you and who are cheering you on as well. So as always, thank you so much for your energy, because it's your energy that keeps me coming back every single day to record these pods. Because I know that you who's watching this right now, you are meant to see this, you're meant to hear this message. And of course, I know it will move you in a way that will change the course, that will change the direction of your life. So wishing you all the very best. And of course, as always, remember to live your purpose. God bless. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.